Okay, so I'm at my site here in suburban Chicago. I'm in actually the plan room of the building. These plan rooms are typically kind of disorganized, drawings all over the place. This one's actually a lot better than most. The building engineer is able to find the existing drawings for the building. And so now I'm going to look through those and try and get a feel for what the building, how the building was designed, what the design conditions were, what the structural framing is. And I'm going to look at that in mind with what a new tenant wants to do with the space. So this work is for an existing building. A new tenant is coming in. They want to put in very heavy, high-density filing systems, and they also want to tear out some walls. My job is to see whether the floor can take the weight of the new high-density file system, and to see whether the walls they want to remove are structural. We have an interesting L-shaped building with this rotunda type area in the center. In this area, the architect wants to add these high-density, heavy file systems. And here, along this line, is where there's an existing wall that the architect would like to remove. What I found here is an existing set of drawings that were done for a renovation to the site. And if I look in closely, I can see that this wall was not a structural addition, but an architectural one. And I can reference this detail here to see what exactly the composition was. So it looks like we'll be able to remove this, and I should have a happy client. So this is the wall, the extension of the wall that the architect wants to remove that I was pointing to on the drawings earlier. I have a pretty good feeling that it's not a structural component, that it's not solid masonry and not solid concrete. But one thing we can do to try and just verify that is to do a simple sounding test. I've got my rubber mallet here, and I'll just... So it's pretty clearly hollow behind there. The sound would be completely different if there was a solid structural component behind. Sometimes it's really hard to get your bearing in these buildings when new tenant work is going to be happening, because there's an existing layout. Like in this room, we have some type of conference center, but in the future, under the new tenant, this is where those high-density file systems are going to be. If I look at the existing structural drawings, what I can see right away is that this is a concrete building, that we have concrete columns and a concrete slab. These numbers indicate the reinforcing that's in the slab. This dashed line around the column indicates that the slab is actually thicker near the column. This looks like a good opportunity for me to pop my head up over the ceiling to see what the structure beyond the drop ceiling looks like. As I look in here, I can see the concrete slab. I can see the drop panel around the column. So this is just a quick verification that what we do in fact have is a concrete floor system with drop panels. The only thing that bothers me about the placement of the high-density files, which you can see if we zoom in here, that's in this area, is that just next to them we have the stairwell. And even though the wall extends all the way around the stairwell in the mechanical room, you can see that there's an opening. It's a little hard to see, but there's an X there representing an opening in the slab. So we're going to be putting a large amount of weight next to this area. So in between this column and this column, the slab is basically spanning like a simple span from one to the other, versus the usual column layout, which allows the slab to span to multiple columns. So I'm thinking that we have a little less strength in this region than we might have otherwise. So without doing more analysis, well, I'm going to have to do more analysis to determine whether it can actually take this weight or not.